field. This is a very, very exciting day for us. And as we commemorate the past, the service of our veterans, the freedom of our nation, I want to begin this morning with the posting of the colors by our Civil Air Patrol cadets. So if you would remove your hats, please. It's probably best just to remain seated, I think, because we're so crowded. And then we will do the Pledge of Allegiance. So at this time, I would say, post the colors. At this time, if you're able to stand, you may stand, place your hand over your heart, and I would ask Cadet Snell to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It was many, many years ago that I first climbed in a little Piper Cherokee and took off from runway 13, which turned me on to a 28-year career in the United States Air Force, flying America's great jet fighters. So it's special for me on a personal level, but it's clearly special for all of us. As we look at our veterans around this room, I want to especially acknowledge our Normandy veterans here who attended the 70th Normandy anniversary. Tony Costanzo, Paul Arnone. How about a round of applause for all of our veterans who are here. I can't acknowledge everyone, but Roland Swanson's a Navy CB. I always love the Navy. I always have to acknowledge him. And Jeff Tomassini, flew in a C-47 over the hump, right? So congratulations, what a great day to have you. We have many special guests here today. Judge Joe Gerasi is here. Judge, where are you? A round of applause. There he is, right here. Judge Sam Alessi is here. Sam, there he is, over here. And past legislator and good neighbor from Bemis Point, Rich Babich. Dick, where are you at? I want to acknowledge you. Thank you very much. I took his place as a legislator. I have big shoes to fill. Also want to acknowledge Airport Commission member Hugh Butler is here. Hugh, where are you? Thank you very much. Oh, there he is. Over here. We have our county legislators well represented, with Dave Hemmeline, Ron Lemon, PJ Wendell. Did I miss any other round of applause for our legislators? Oh, and Lisa Banstrom. I'm sorry, Lisa. You're under my special representative here. I always want to acknowledge the legislators that are working on my budget. I hope they work through it all right. Our elected representatives are represented here. Jacqueline Sherratt for Congressman Tom Reed. How about a round of applause for her? And representing State Senator Kathy Young is Lisa Banstrom. Lisa, did you want to say anything, Lisa?
Senator sent a letter.
Okay. Would you like to acknowledge the letter from the senator? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vince. Good morning, everyone.
On behalf of Senator Young, I'm going to share a letter. She sends her deep regrets on not being able to be at this fantastic event today with the renaming of our great airport. Dear friends, I wish I could be with you at the renaming dedication ceremony for the Greater Chautauqua Jamestown Airport Robert H. Jackson Field, but I must attend to previous commitments. I was honored to receive your invitation and will keep your accomplishments in my thoughts today. Today we honor the achievements of Chautauqua County's Robert H. Jackson and all of our World War II veterans. All of these heroes fought for justice and freedom, and it truly is a great reminder for all travelers that these Chautauqua County natives fought so valiantly for the ideals we hold so dear as Americans. I commend the work of the Chautauqua County Department of Public Facilities, the Chautauqua County Airport at Jamestown, and the Chautauqua County Airport Commission for their commitment to this facility. I'd also like to extend a warm welcome to the Sun Air Express. I firmly believe that our region is by far the best part of New York State. We have wonderful people, businesses, and communities. Everyone involved in the Greater Chautauqua Jamestown Airport Robert H. Jackson Field represents those qualities that make us so special. I'm proud to be a representative in the New York State Senate. Please accept my sincere best wishes for continued success. Sincerely, Senator Young. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you, Lisa.
Of a world war. It's astounding. Senator Young and I, a couple of years ago, were successful in getting the state legislature to pass legislation naming one of the bridges that goes over the expressway after Robert H. Jackson. And we did that so that everyone who is driving through our county would know that our county was the birthplace of an individual who changed history. And now we're taking the next step forward, thanks to our county legislature and county executive Vince Horgan, to make sure that everyone who flies into our county also knows that. Congratulations, great step forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andy. Okay, at this point, I think, again, we're going to be a little flexible with the airport.
What a great day. As Vince mentioned, I've been thrilled since way back in 2001 to be one of the co-founders of the Robert H. Jackson Center, which was designed to advance the legacy of our native, Robert Jackson. And what a thrill it has been, what a ride it has been. And to actually come to the culmination today of naming a field after Justice Jackson, of which he would be so thrilled. And you'll hear from him shortly. A little bit of the history of this area, and particularly relating to Jackson, is, as Andy so aptly put, here's one of our heroes. Here's one of our heroes. In fact, one of his descendants is here today, Harold Bennett. I just want to acknowledge Harold Bennett, who is a distant cousin of Robert Jackson. So, Harold, thank you for coming. And did you ever get to the town of Carroll? I don't know, the exhibit's still up?
Yeah, well, not the Jacksons.
But Harold has put together and gathered up an awful lot of local history with regards to Robert Jackson, his time in the town of Carroll. But Robert Jackson is the answer to the Jeopardy question. Name the only person in the history of the United States to be Solicitor General, Attorney General, and a Justice of the United States Supreme Court. That's pretty nifty. From a guy from this area who never went to college, never graduated from law school, and as, again, Andy mentioned, he practiced law here for 20 years and went on to the highest levels in the domestic regime of both presidents, Roosevelt and Truman, and of course, being the chief American prosecutor at the international tribunals at Nuremberg. It was that backdrop that when the terminal that was owned by the city of Jamestown became considered to be part of the County of Chautauqua, that the Airport Commission at that time paused to reflect as to how the best way to handle this particular brand new terminal. And we're thrilled today to have in our midst, and I'd like to call up at this time former City Court Judge, the Honorable Samuel C. Alessi Jr., who was chairman of the Airport Commission at that time, to sort of do a historical reflection on where they started, and then I'll come back and figure out how we got here today.
Thank you, Greg. I made a few notes. If I didn't make any notes, I'd stand up here and talk for about an hour. But yeah, I was interested to note in the Post-Journal the other day that 75 years ago, almost to the day, this airport was dedicated as the Jamestown Municipal Airport. According to the Post-Journal, before a crowd of 10,000. I think that must have been a little exaggeration, but anyway, it must have been an exciting time. And I was also happy to see Vince Horrigan's article in the paper about the economic importance of the airport to the county. But my purpose here this morning is to make sure that all the people responsible for what we see now receive thanks for their efforts, and it's a feeble effort, but I'm going to mention people, not individually, but by groups mostly. The airport was from the beginning managed by an airport commission made up of people appointed by the mayor of the city who volunteered to give a lot of their time and effort and consideration. I'd like to see that C-47. When I escaped or was released from active duty, it was in Fort Dix, New Jersey, and I flew on a C-47 or DC-3 from Newark, New Jersey to Jamestown, non-stop, 2 hours on Allegheny Airlines.
Power each. Maximum speed, 224 miles an hour. 10,000 feet at 10,000 feet. It would cruise though at only 160. The range 1,600 miles, service ceiling 26,000 feet, and to get to 10,000 feet, it took a leisurely 9.5 minutes. The C-47 truly is an airplane that has a tremendous mark in our history, but with a machine comes the airmen that flew it, that faced danger, that were there to liberate our allies, and were there in defense of freedom. So I think it's a salute not only to those that built her, but those that flew her and those that maintain her. So how about another round of applause for the C-47? At this point, I will turn it back to the videography, Greg Peterson, videographer, sorry.
This is too cool. We couldn't have asked for anything better. Just briefly, to put this into an instant perspective, 1973, this airport was dedicated and accepted by the Honorable Joseph Gerasi. And what it was this terminal. This terminal was named after Robert H. Jackson, and in fact there's a plaque when you walk inside that very first opening door to the right is the little plaque honoring Robert Jackson. Often you walk right through it because you don't see it because you're looking at the second sliding door, but that's it. But 40 years later, an opportunity presented itself, and we worked through the then airport head, Sam Arcadipane, and the Airport Commission with the opportunity to kind of complete something that started 40 plus years ago, naming this particular airport and field after Robert H. Jackson. Just as a side note, while things are setting up here, the call letters for this airport are JHW. That's not going to change. JHW, JHW, you've heard that forever. But interestingly enough, JHW stands for John H. Wright. John H. Wright, the founder of the telephone company. John H. Wright's personal and corporate attorney was, drum roll, Robert Jackson. So, John Wright, of course, who was married to Lucille Wright, to tie all these connectors together. So it's great and nifty and wonderful that we have an opportunity to today do something very special, to perhaps conclude something that was started by Judge Alessi's commission back in 1972, 40 plus years later, to be able to name it after the Robert H. Jackson Field. And as soon as we can, we will be hearing from himself, Robert H. Jackson. He was also mentioned by Judge Alessi is the fact that 75 years ago, there was mention of the field here, the North Main Street extension. And one of the proponents of that even earlier, and well documented, there was a field on Baker Street, was Robert Jackson. So the whole Robert Jackson Airport Commission, etc. It makes a lot of sense for today's purposes. Finally, hopefully finally, but we're going to have an opportunity to have a display out there from the Robert H. Jackson Center, which is here to advance the legacy. And one of our principal documents is a film of Robert Jackson at Nuremberg. He flies in to the airport to start his work at Nuremberg, just before the Palace of Justice. And what plane does he get out of? DC-3. It's a beautiful world. By the way, DC-3, C-47, one and the same. So, without any further ado, hopefully he'll get the cue. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to call for Robert Jackson to come forward, and if I can get him down the line. Pilots. This is cool to watch. I don't know if you this.
Right?
Yeah.
It has been called, the DC-3 or C-47 has been called by people who know these things, the best airplane that was ever made.
Wow.
There you go. And it's still playing. By the way, this plane, I forgot to mention this fact, this particular plane flew from Geneseo Museum. It's located at the National World War II Airplane Museum, Geneseo. And this flew to Normandy on June 6th this year, where Paul and Tony were at. So it too is celebrity in and of itself because it flew at D-Day. So
There he is.
There's Robert
Oh,
Jackson.
man. There's Robert Jackson coming down right there. That he looks good.
don't lose it now. My God.
Hang in there.
It's hard to step up on.
Looks like it.
Yeah.
It looks like Robert Jackson.
You look older than he is.
Double door. The guy standing in the door. We had double.
Jackson, welcome.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. It's wonderful to be back in Jamestown. I have prepared a couple things, and I want to make sure that I get names right. Vincent Organ. Well, it is a great pleasure to be back in Jamestown. And I want to begin by thanking all of you for coming today, and especially the World War II veterans. Where are you guys? Oh. And again, thank Vincent Horgan for hosting us today, and for all the other citizens of Jamestown who have joined in. I think I'll put my glasses on. Oh, so much better. So much better. You should have been in there. Wow. There can be no greater honor than to be recognized by one's own hometown. I am proud and humbled that you chose to name this airfield and previously the terminal after me. Jamestown was my home for over 20 years, the place I chose to complete my early education, to launch my career, and to raise a family. I am deeply grateful to the many people who have had a hand in my success. My family, my teachers, my mentors, all here in Jamestown. In 1937, I had the distinct pleasure to return to Jamestown when WJTN Radio joined the National Broadcasting Company network. If I may, I'd like to share a quote from that speech, as the words are just as true today as they were in 1937. When Harry Wilder of the National Broadcasting Company network told me that he was considering investing in Jamestown, I was able, out of a long and happy experience, to recommend Jamestown to him as a desirable place in which to live, to invest, and to teach, and to do business. I am proud to be of this city. We should all be proud to be of this city. Today, we are welcoming a similar partnership between the airport and a new carrier, Sun Air Express. May this new partnership grow and flourish. I'm going to brag for a minute. I hope that my work as Solicitor General, Attorney General, Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, and Chief American Prosecutor at Nuremberg has brought pride to this marvelous city and reflects the small town values I learned in school, in civic organizations, and in its close-knit community. Those values and the lessons of my life are as relevant today as they were 70 years ago. I am pleased to know, too, that they have been captured and are being preserved at a center that bears my name. The Robert H. Jackson Center was established in this community to present and to interpret my life's work in the pursuit of the rule of law, and to teach it to future generations. I hope sincerely that the center can be a place where students of all ages can learn what justice and fairness mean in today's society and can apply those ideals in an ever-changing world. I thank you. Who's next? Right there.
Thank you, Justice Jackson. We're just thrilled and honored that you've been able to take from your busy schedule, come join us today in the dedication of this wonderful, wonderful field in your honor, and Jamestown is proud to call you one of your names. Give him one last hand, Justice Jackson.
You just never know the surprises that one Gregory Peterson can. Robert H. Jackson grew up in Frewsburg, New York, and attended school there and in Jamestown, New York. And whereas Robert H. Jackson worked as a law clerk and passed the bar examination at the age of 21. And whereas Robert H. Jackson went on to have a very distinguished career as a Jamestown trial lawyer, U.S. Solicitor General, U.S. Attorney General, and Associate Supreme Court Justice of the United States. And whereas during his tenure as Supreme Court Justice, he represented the United States by setting up the International Military Tribunal and served as Chief Counsel at the Nuremberg trials. And whereas the Chautauqua County Airport Terminal was dedicated in honor of Robert H. Jackson on June 10, 1973, and whereas the request to change the name of Chautauqua County Airport at Jamestown was made by the Board of Directors of the Robert H. Jackson Center and was unanimously approved by the Chautauqua County Airport Commission for the Chautauqua County Airport, therefore be it resolved that the Chautauqua County Legislature, in memorial to this great man, hereby approves the naming of the runways and surrounding grounds, the Greater Chautauqua Jamestown Airport, Robert H. Jackson Field. Adopted unanimously, February 26, 2014. Pretty cool, isn't it? It really is. Could I ask the cadets if we could come forward at this time? One of my favorite movies growing up was The Bridges over Toko-Ri, Korean story of F-86 fighters outnumbered in the Korean conflict. And we're honored today to have Peter Carlo come forward to present a flag.
Familiar? Oh, yeah. You don't see the gas cap there. I think it's up on top there. There it is, way up on top.
He wants a picture from over there.
Very much appreciated. Thank you very much. 800. Wow. God bless you. Thank you for serving. Yes. Yes. We'll take it in our museum and treasure it. That's for sure.
I was thinking of you and Mary the other day.
Hey, Rolly.
Rolly Swamp.
These CBs, they're always in the way.
I know you are.
We're going to take a photo of it and come back in. Out of the way. Okay. Wow.
I'll send you a letter with all the details.
Please do. Yes.
Oh, he was waiting for
Where
that,
he
Rob.
served and when and all
I
that.
very much appreciate that. Yes.
That's a flight manual from World War IV. Okay, right here. It's a flight manual. It's this plane. Tomassini.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Oh, yes. Yes. Not like there were, but there's still several hundred flying. Yeah, down in South America, and they're still using these.
Came to the door. TV guys want to get a shot of you too.
All right, get him up so that you can go and help him. You want to go there?
I want to get a couple of pictures of.
Okay.
You want to hang on a second?
Nick, hold on. He wants to get a picture.
I want to get a couple. He wants to get for no bothering. Is that the tie line for the parachuters? Shroud line's not there. Oh, it's not? Does it look real familiar, Uncle Jeff? It's shroud line for the parachuters. Yeah. Is that where they hooked up the parachute? He said that's not it. Except for the difference, they had delivered across the field.
Stand behind this gentleman,
Okay.
because we can get this guy up. Stand down here. All right.
We got you.
Gotcha. Let's help him up there.
All right. Help him up. Go ahead.
I'll keep hold of your hand so I have something to grab on too.
Why don't you come up here so he can grab a hold of you there? And help him.
Many slides. You're scared?
Okay, you guys can get off here.
We're going to take
No problem. That's what we're here for.
This is really quite a memory lane for a phone. Look familiar, Dad? Huh? Look familiar? Oh, yeah.
I'm watching a couple of memories go through his head.
Yeah. He flew the hump in Burma.
Yeah, that's great.
Used to be the fuel spanner used to be right here. And next to the compartment. The radio operator was over here.
About 43?
42.
42?
44, right?
Oh, okay.
42 to 44.
Wow, that's great.
I went over and get a picture of the two you guys together. There we go. I'm lifting up against the wall. Excellent. One more. Wonderful. And you said that wasn't there? This is new.
Yeah.
We didn't have those.
Yeah. No navigating by the stars, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. The radio is probably
Yeah.
Okay, Mac. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on board.
Where's his back? His kid?
Right here.
Thanks for having him. Sorry.
That's much priceless.
All right, now we gotta get